Welcome to the wonderful world that is the medical field. With over 400 medical professions comprising it, these people make our world go round by attempting to solve one of your many problems and robbing you out of all your money afterwards. Today we're going to be talking about, just like any profession, you're going to need to have a high level of education. For psychologists, they need a master's degree in counseling and a clinical degree in psychology, both of which you can get in many universities. The best being Stanford University, University of Pennsylvania, University of Washington, and New York University, according to the best psychology school list made by the U.S. News World Report in 2022. The fees for such high education are pretty pricey. Assuming that you don't pirate your books like me, the total experience is going to cost you an average of about $54,771. Once you get your prerequisites, it's time to choose a workplace. You can choose to go independently as a clinical psychologist. This has heavy risks, but with many potential awards attached to it. Most of your income is heavily dependent on the area you locate your business. Placing yourself near a hospital would allow for a larger flow of patient referrals compared to a more rural area. But competition for these referrals would be greater in the former compared to the latter. Becoming an independent psychologist would also lead to an increased workload, as you are not only scheduling and conducting meetings with patients, but also worrying about the stressors of owning a small business, which are too many to list, so I'll just have them right over there. There's also the option of conducting psychological research under a private organization. By working with a team, your workload is cut down tremendously when compared to our last environment. And by working under a company, most, if not all, your research funding is easily covered for. The environments these researchers find themselves most in are universities and laboratories, in which they go through the scientific process to answer a given subject. A famous example of this would be the Bobo doll experiment, led by Albert Bandura. It focused on aggression present in youth, and whether or not aggression can be taught through the actions of authority figures. It took place in Stanford University in the great year of 1961. Essentially, he took 3 groups of kids of 24 kids and displayed a different kind of action towards a 4-foot Bobo doll clown. Group A was shown negative, more aggressive forms of action towards the clown. Group B was shown a nicer way to play towards the goofball, and the third were given toys with no role models or actions. Albert found that those who were presented more violent actions absolutely clobbered the Bobo doll with the given toys. And it's through this experiment many core parental beliefs were formed, such as video games and televisions causing violence. So if you ever want somebody to blame, Mr. Bandura is your guy. Alright, so for some final thoughts, because I forgot to add them in here. For Job Outlook, the job scene for psychologists are expected to grow by 10% by 2031, faster than the average rate for all occupations. As for pay, between the two types of psychologists I talked about, for a clinical psychologist, you can see like $94,000 to $160K per year, or some other sources say up to $170K. Then on to our final bit for the research psychologist, they can see from $60K to $140K. So honestly, you're better off becoming a clinical psychologist. What else is there for me to talk about? I'm just really trying to run time here. I think that's all I have to say, right? Like, outside of Sonic Superstars releasing this week, I'm not sure what else I should talk about.